Hi there, my name is Steve Rubin, and I'm a lawyer. I'm a business, nonprofit, and tax lawyer. I've been practicing law for about 30 years, but I've been playing guitar a lot longer than that. I've been playing guitar since I was about 13, which, trust me, is longer than that. I play guitar, I write songs, and this is my first episode of Guitar Chat. It's always been a wish of mine to make these little videos and talk about something that I am very passionate about: guitars, guitar playing, songwriting, and music. And so during these challenging times, while we're all staying at home and getting adjusted to the new way, I thought I'd kick off this dream of mine to make Guitar Chat. As I said, I've been playing guitar a lot longer than I've been practicing law. I started playing when I was 13 years old. My older brother got a guitar for his bar mitzvah. He was a couple years older than me, and he didn't play it very much. I'll never forget walking by him while he was getting lessons on the guitar shortly after he had received it, and he looked horribly bored. In fact, it looked to me like he looked like he was being tortured. So it's fair to say that he just didn't really take to the guitar. It wasn't his thing, and he put it back in the corner of a bedroom that we shared together. And a couple of years later, when I was 13, I don't know, but something just propelled me or compelled me to go pick up the guitar. And my older brother had a music book that he had received with the guitar, and in the music book was the song Proud Mary by Creedence Clearwater, and also made famous by Tina Turner. And it had those chord blocks. It would tell you where to put your fingers to make the chords that you needed to play the song. And if you knew the song and you could navigate the chord block, you could pretty much teach yourself the song. So I learned Proud Mary, the first song I ever learned to play on guitar. And I went downstairs and I played it for my mother. And my mother was very musical, but none of her four sons till that moment had ever been musical. And she was in the kitchen cooking and at the sink, and I parked myself in the little stool in the kitchen, and I played Proud Mary, and all I know is she kind of froze up. I guess she couldn't believe that one of her sons had inherited some of her musical talent, and pretty much never stopped from there, never looked back, just kept playing. A few years later, I started writing songs, and I've been having fun ever since. Now, if I were on an island and I could only have 3 magazines, the 3 magazines that I would bring with me, besides the legal journals, those are important, but magazine number 1 would be probably Rolling Stone magazine. I love the Rolling Stone and the way it keeps me current in terms of all things musical. I may not get around to hearing them all, but I'm certainly learning about new music in every genre imaginable all the time, and I really enjoy that. And the other magazine I would bring with me is, of course, Guitar Player. I've been a subscriber to Guitar Player since forever. And the third magazine would probably wouldn't matter, it would be one of those other 2 magazines. So I have in front of me a issue of Guitar Player magazine, and on the cover, of course, being that this is the inaugural episode of Guitar Chat, is Jimi Hendrix. Wow, what can you say about Jimi Hendrix that hasn't been said? Probably not very much. Jimi, in my estimation, is by far the most influential rock guitar player that ever lived by a long margin. I would say number 2 is probably Eddie Van Halen. But Jimi's influenced and still continues to influence guitar players in just about every genre imaginable. What a genius. Just an extraordinary understanding not only of the guitar, but how to record the guitar to make some of the most amazing music we've all ever heard. And probably my favorite moment in all of rock guitardom, in the whole history of rock guitar, is Jimi playing the Star Spangled Banner at Woodstock, which I feel is by far the most iconic moment in all of rock guitar history, which is saying something when you think of all the great rock guitar players and all the iconic performances over the years and over the decades. Not to mention that little group called the Beatles and the Stones and Eric Clapton and my personal favorite, Duane Allman of the Allman Brothers. But nothing comes close to Jimi playing the Star Spangled Banner at Woodstock at the end of that festival up there in upstate New York. Just amazing. And his influence, as I said, continue. Believe me, I think guitar players that think, well, no, Jimi Hendrix didn't influence my evolution as a guitar player. Well, I would say check the people who have impacted your evolution as a guitar player, and you're going to find somewhere in there one or probably more than one of the guitar players you really like and enjoy that have influenced you, who were influenced by Jimi Hendrix. On the Jimi Hendrix, this was the, let me check here, Holiday, they call it the Holiday issue, 2018 issue of Guitar Player magazine with Jimi. Here he is. Say hi, Jimi. Prominently displayed on the cover. Good look at Jimi. Talking about his time in London in 1966 through 67. And also in this issue that Holiday 2018 issue of Guitar Player magazine are articles about the great Frank Zappa, one of my nearest, dearest friends. The Colonel, we'll call him. Huge friend, huge fan of Frank Zappa. Frank, wow, what a player. I mean, that guy, I listened to him, and he's way past me, way beyond me. But, hey, any guy that can, I guess it was his daughter, my wife informs me, that penned Valley Girl. Oh, my God. I think my wife went to school with Moon Unit. Can't be all bad. Also in that issue are articles about Doyle Bramhall II, who I went and checked out. Amazing, kind of rocky blues thing. And then Reeves Gabrels, who I think played with David Bowie, and they talk about his time with Bowie, who's very eclectic, is what I would say. Anyway, I'm sitting here with my trusty Martin M38 guitar. I was playing a little bit of that Neil Young thing, right? Needle and the Damage Done. Yeah. Learning to play guitar as a young guy, and you had to be able to play that song back when I was starting to really be a real guitar player. And I remember when I learned it and I learned to play it well, I thought, wow, I think I'm going to be a good guitar player. I think I can do this. We'll catch Neil in a later episode of Guitar Chat, but I wanted to finish by opening up to the back page of the magazine where it talks about great guitar players, sometimes from the past. This one is about Memphis Minnie in a feature that they call 5 Acts of Legend. And it states that she's born Lizzie Douglas in Louisiana in 1897. And Memphis Minnie rocked the blues with guitar in hand and a voice both honeyed and forceful. And then I noticed that later they talk about how Led Zeppelin famously appropriated, I guess, a song, When the Levee Breaks, on their 4th album in 1971. And I'm always amazed by how more contemporary bands and groups, when you dig in a little bit and learn more about them and their influences and the evolution of their sound, how they can harken back and dig back to musicians from the past that you just didn't expect or suspect. And this is one of those cases to me. Anyway, I've had a lot of fun here in this inaugural episode of Guitar Chat. Feel free to drop me an email at my office. Let me know if your thoughts or anything you'd like for me to discuss on future episodes of Guitar Chat. And in the meantime, I guess let's keep rocking, right? All right. Thanks very much for listening, and I'll catch you down the line.